Alright, so this is something that happens almost every time a self-taught Python developer finishes a tutorial. Now you understand variables, loops, functions, and you feel like you are ready for Django Fast API project or to code and just look. But when you look at the code, it looks completely foreign. It's not hard, but it's because the features that Python beginner tutorial we cover were not covered. So in this tutorial and in this mini series, we are going to be showing you what you should know, the essential part of what you should know for Python tutorial like this. So we're going to be talking about type int, decorators, context manager, data class, and virtual environment. This will help you kickstart your journey into backend development using Python. So we're going to be writing every feature live in VS Code, and this slide is as a signpost between sections or between the videos in this mini series. So today we're not just going to be reading about them, we are going to be looking at them from scratch and how everything is going to work out. So here are the 5 features and one reason you should learn each. So type int now. So Fast API entire validation system is built on these things. So they are the frameworks that are not like extra. For you to understand Fast API, you must understand typing. These are what you use to create your schema, your database, everything in Fast API, just like that. Then when we look at decorators, decorators is what, when you look at Django routes, then Fast API part ops or part operations, authentication checks, and all decorators, they are all decorators actually. Stopping, okay, now you have to stop the copy magic now and start understanding what you are doing. Now when you write at get slash, you know, you are writing yes, a get request. This is a decorator called get that you are using right there. You are wrapping this function with this decorator called get. Then we have the context manager. Here now the context manager, now we have the database connection here, which is the HTTP session, file operations, Python. Okay, now this is like here now what this uses the database connection, the HTTP sessions, the file operations, and Python guarantees that clean up the runs no matter what. So now every time you're running something, this context manager makes sure it is guaranteed that there is a cleanup no matter what you're doing. And we have the data classes. This is a clean and modern way the structure, the data structure works. If you understand this now, pandatic model become immediately obvious to you. You understand what is happening when you are working with pandatic models, especially with your Fast API framework. And we have virtual environments. Oh god, this is this is non-negotiable. For every professional Python project, there is no exception. Whether you're working on the backend, data science, anything, virtual environments are all compulsory things that you must know what to use them to. So we are starting with type int right here. And what does type int actually do? What it does is it helps you annotate types on parameters and return the values. It is not enforced on runtime, but Fast API read them to do everything. So now we're just going to go to VS Code now and to see what type int does and how it works. So I'm going to come here and say type int right here. Type int.py is right here now. I have type int right here now, and what I'm going to do here now, I have a file now called type int. So I'll create a function here, and this function will be a greet function. I'm just going to go ahead and say dev greet. So I'm going to have a parameter called name right here. So now this is dev greet. Now it's going to return just hello name. This is what dev greet is returning, just hello name. So if I should go ahead and print out greet now, and I'm saying greet Alice, if I should go ahead and run this code now, I'm saying hello Alice, right? But now what do you notice in this thing now? It works fine, right? It prints out hello Alice. If I change this to Drew, it's still going to print out hello Drew as expected. Hello Drew, we get that quite all right there. So now there's no complaint there. But if I decide to change this to this, here now I have like greet the name, I have a column here, I have a string. This specifies that what I'm expecting here is a string, and what I expect this function to return also, it is a string. So the function, so it does not change anything at runtime, even if I did not follow this rule that has been created right here. So if I should run this now, we will see that the output here is still identical. Typing does not enforce anything at runtime. They just communicate to your IDE and to your teammates, and this is very important to framework like Fast API. They communicate the data type that is required, the data type that is expected for you to return. So now if you talk about the data type that backend devs use daily, So I'm just going to go ahead and comment out this now. So now if you want to talk about the data type you are going to be seeing daily now, you will see something like, okay, let me just start from scratch here. You see something like right here now. Okay, you see something like this. Okay, let's work with this. So from typing, we want to import optional. If you are familiar with Fast API, you will notice this very often. Then now, what we are doing with optional right here, we are saying that, let me just have a comment for this. We are saying this value can be none, right? That's what we are saying right here. So if I now go ahead and say def right here, get user. So I'm writing it the way we are going to write this in Fast API. Then we have user ID right here now. Let me just have this. So def ID get user now. Then we have user ID. So this def ID get user is telling us that we are expecting an integer to be entered as a parameter into this function get user, and we are expecting a string, an optional string can be returned out from this function, which means this function can either return a string or nothing. Right, it is optional. It is not compulsory that this return a string. It is quite optional, which why we have a return none here. So it can be none. It is not enforced. It can be none. Then if I say now, let's now say work with list now, right? So if I say like, okay, now we imported two types now, list now. What list does here is a typed list, right? So if I say def get all names, if I'm getting all names right here, since I'm getting all names right here, I want to have my type list here too, and I want to say this is expecting this. We are expecting a list of users to be entered here, right? And this is going to be dictionary, right? And we want this function to also return a list. So what I can just do here now is return username for users in users. So I can just say return username for users in users. So this is going to work right here. So Python 3.10 now, it helps us to have a cleaner syntax right here, and it helps to work. So what I can now do now is to print all these things now and see how it works. So if I say get user 1 right here, it will work in a way. I can say get user 3, which should return none, right? Then if I say get all names, so now I'm saying get all names right here, and I'm expecting name Alice, name Bob, right? If I should go ahead and run this code, so let's clear this and run this again, you can see get user 1 is giving me Alice here as expected, right? Which is a string, and get user 3, because 3 does not exist in what we have defined right here, we are able to return none without it creating a problem in Fast API, or without it communicating the wrong message to your teammate or to the editor itself. So this is how it works right here now. You can see that Fast API now, in Fast API you will see it as something like this. So I'm just going to create an example here. Fast API, type it. Okay, this should be a Python file. .py. So I'm just going to create it as an example here, and let's see if we can split this. So I'm just going to create it like this right here. So what happened here now? How does Fast API use this? You will see something like app right here. In terms of Fast API, app.get. I'm just trying to make an example here. You see a user like this, then you see def get user, something like this. So here now you are seeing that Fast API read the int initially and automatically validates the URL parameter is a number. So when you read this thing, it's going to validate that this URL parameter is a number. Then it's going to convert it from string to integer for you to work with it. Then it's going to return a 404 if it fails, a 422 error if it fails, all from using this typing to distinguish how it works. So that's how it works with types int here. Now we've written greet, we've written get user, and we see pass API path parameter pattern. So, and we saw like how the optional and the list are used in Python 3.10 upward, right? So next time we're going to look at decorators, a function that wraps around a function using the @symbol as a shorthand.